It's more than just your output, more than a bike. When you hear your shout out, you know it's all right. Put on your magic pants and let's go. We're cruising into the power zone. Clip in, set yourself free. Come on and take a ride with me. You know what you need to know and what's it all about. Everything you need, it's on the Clip Out.
Welcome to the Clip Out Podcast, episode 302. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hi.
Hi.
We are on vacation.
Yes.
Except from this show.
That's right.
Because we are committed.
We are.
So we are in St. Martin this week.
Yes, we are. Gorgeous, beautiful St. Martin. We were out today snorkeling. Well, I was snorkeling.
You were snorkeling. I was sitting in a boat waiting.
Listen.
I can't do the snorkel.
I know.
Like, it freaks me out. I can't sync my breathing, and I just feel like I'm drowning.
You're not the only one. I know that's a pretty common thing. I loved it, though. Got to see lots of gorgeous fish. They were so pretty.
Yeah.
We went to a place called Shipwreck Bay, and we literally got to snorkel around a shipwreck and a bunch of coral. So it was really cool. And I just want to say that if anybody out there would like their own gorgeous vacation to the island of St. Martin, this is not an ad. But we have a connection for you, Rainbow Beach Club. And that is, there are some units there that are owned by our past guest and friend, Rosalind Arzon, and her husband, Mike. They live in St. Martin for 6 months of the year. And you might be saying, well, that name sounds familiar. Well, Roz was on episode 237.
She was the one who talked about getting, quote unquote, stranded in St. Martin.
During COVID. Let me tell you guys, this is a beautiful place to get stranded.
Yes.
I would love to be stranded here for 3 months.
We had little sympathy for her before.
Now there's none.
None
at all.
Of any kind.
The only thing I will say is the Wi-Fi is a little the internet here is not what I am used to.
Yes.
So for trying to get things like this done, it can be a little frustrating. The recording is going fine, but like uploading, downloading, that's a really slow kind of process.
For sure.
But oh my God, this place is gorgeous. And Mike and Roz take such good care of you. And what I mean, like, they will tell you all about the island. They will tell you all about they take care of everything for you. So if you guys have any interest, let me know and I will get you in touch with them. Happy to do so.
For sure.
Again, not an ad. That's just
what we're doing this week.
That's where we are.
Yeah.
So what else, Tom?
Well, also this week, it's 2015
on the timeline. Yes. Make sure that you get to check that out. So each year will be under a different link. And so when you get to the end of, let's say you went to 2020, 2012, 2013, you got to the end of that, it should point you over to 2014. You can find it that way, or you can go to the menu. There will be, on the website, there will be a separate link for each year. So you can do that either way, whichever is easier for you. And don't forget that anyone over there, one of our Patreon, if you want to join our Patreon account, however you say that, you want to be a patron. So you will get bonus episodes if you're part of the people that get the bonus episodes. Still have the brain injury, okay? And
mixed with some drinks.
A little bit.
With some White Claw, because she's a basic bitch.
I am. Well, I got these from Nicole. That's another story. So I got really distracted there. If you are a Patreon member and you have the level that has bonus episodes, we are doing a deep dive with Diana Nichols for each separate year. So we have gone into 2014. We've done one for 2012 and 2013. We did one for 2014, and this Friday, 2015. And it's really cool to hear all the fun stuff, all the things that happen.
And if you're hearing this a long time from now, and you join Patreon later, they're still going
to be there.
They'll still be there for you. Yeah,
absolutely.
For sure. So other than that,
I have to say one more thing about St. Martin, because it's Peloton. It's Peloton related. Right. Completely unbeknownst to me, Nicole Babiak was on the island and literally across the street. She was like 3 minutes away from where we were staying.
Well, just about everything is 3 minutes away on this island.
That's fair. But she literally was on the same street. She was on this street, Tom.
Right.
And so when she saw me post that we were here, she was like, I'm here too. And she was on her way to the airport. So she stopped by and she dropped off all of her leftover alcohol. Thank you, Nicole.
I'm surprised that she left us any alcohol, considering how not sober I was.
Tom was the least sober I have seen him in a long time.
Yes.
Tom doesn't even remember being that unsober. He doesn't remember most of the afternoon.
Like if that was something that happened frequently,
that would not be cute.
It would not be cute. And
once a year is totally fine. You can get schnockered all you want.
I'd get my own 3-part series with Dr. Jenn on an upcoming episode of the Clip Out. But yeah, no, I was at one point legally declared a Kennedy. That's how intoxicated I was. So if I said anything to Nicole, then
Nicole and Lucas, her husband Lucas.
I don't think I did, but
and if you're wondering who Nicole is, if anybody out there, she is one of the admins for the You Get To crew, which is Just Sims group. So she's lovely. Got to meet her in person for the first time when we went out to LA for the Thrive thing last year. And
maybe one day I will get to meet her too.
You better. You just don't remember it.
So other than that, what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
Oh, let's see. My lists are all messed up because I have 2 lists this week. It's a long story. Just go with it. Well, we have very interesting news coming out of Australia.
Yes.
You are going to want to stick around for that.
And you are going to wish you were Australian.
You are. Plus, we have all kinds of details about what is going on with each instructor, like we always do. We have a visit from Dr. Jenn, and she is going to help you find the strength to do strength. We have all of the details on Dance 100 and everything going on there. We also have a visit from Angelo, and he's going to help you get more protein in your diet. Not to mention past guest update, a very special one you want to listen in for, and a whole bunch of In Case You Missed It.
Awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us while you're there. Maybe follow us so you never miss an episode, or leave us a review. That's always helpful as well. You know, if you like the show so much, you want to help us out, the easiest and let's just say cheapest thing you can do is just share it on your Instagram feed, timeline, whatever. You're always posting when new episodes come out, and if you see it pop up, just give it a share, because if you like Peloton, there's a good chance your friends and family do too, and maybe they'll also want to check us out.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/theclipout. While you're there, like the page, join the group. What else? Sorry, I'm...
Patreon.
Patreon.com/theclipout, where you can get bonus episodes. When episodes are done early, you get them early, and you get ad-free episodes. So that's good as well. And finally, we're available on YouTube, youtube.com/theclipout, where you can watch all of these in HD when our computers are good enough to capture these in HD. And I say that because I just got a notification from Zoom saying we have an unstable internet connection.
Yeah.
So, dear Lord.
Yeah.
What happens now?
Yeah.
So, well, stick around and find out. That's what you do. So, let's dig in, shall we?
We shall.
Peloton in the news.
So, the best news to come out of Australia since an AC/DC reunion. I think if you don't live in Australia, you're going to be very jealous right now. We got word this week that Affirm basically just gave everybody their Pelotons?
Yeah, so, okay, let's back up.
Okay.
Let's rewind. So it's like How I Met Your Mother. Before I tell you this story, let me tell you what happened before that.
I'm backing up.
Okay. I heard you. Beep, beep, beep. Okay, so we told you that Affirm, we told you a couple weeks ago, Affirm is leaving Australia. And so Peloton is going forward, be using a company called Zip, I believe.
Yes.
And so this week, a bunch of people who live in Australia who were Affirm customers got an email, and you are looking at a copy of that email, that they are no longer offering financing for Peloton products. But They said, to ensure that we have a seamless experience as we exit the market, we have decided to forgive the remaining balance of your Affirm loans that you took out for the purchase of your Peloton products. This means starting March 21st, you do not need to make additional payments toward your Peloton purchase that you have financed through Affirm. You can keep your Peloton product. You will not be charged for the remaining balance of your Affirm loan. Holy cannoli.
How does that even make sense? Like,
I don't know.
I get if you're not in the country anymore, but like people still owe you the money.
I know.
What is this? Do you think maybe this is some sort of Australian law that it's like if you don't do business in the country anymore, then you can't?
I have no idea. I've never heard of anything like this. And the other interesting thing about it is I'm sure there are people who are listening who right now, my first thought was this cannot be real.
For sure.
And I was very, very skeptical at first, but multiple people sent us this. Now, this particular one does not have like the header on it, but I have seen the header and it was from a firm address, like an actual Affirm address. Now, there are ways you can spoof it. I know. I'm not saying this is a definite thing at all.
I mean, but also, what would possibly be your motivation? Because one, they're not saying come here and give us your information and then we'll waive the rest of your balance.
Right.
They're just saying, hey, we already have a pre-existing relationship. And you're good.
Yeah.
You're free to go. Don't send us any more money.
Exactly. And over on the Australian page, there are all kinds of people posting about this. This is not like a one-time thing, or one-person thing, rather. So I found the whole thing super fascinating. I know we have several lawyers that listen. If anybody knows Australian law, maybe there's some kind of thing we need to know more about. I don't know. But the Peloton Aussie page also had a little joke. They said everyone who basically just got gifted their Peloton bike via Affirm shall pay their penance and ride with us this Sunday morning. You will do 10 10-minute classes starting at 7 a.m. Perth people start at 7 a.m. your time. Add the hashtag Peloton Aussie Riders. It's the least you can do.
Yeah. But yeah, and you can see there's lots of comments from people in Australia all saying the same thing, that they got this email. So,
yeah, that's crazy.
If it's not real, it's then... Well, one, if it's not real, you would think at this point, because it's been a couple days now.
It has,
right?
yeah.
You would think Peloton would step in and be like, whoa, pump the brakes. That's not a thing.
Right.
So, again, do not understand the logic or rationale. I would think that, if MasterCard went out of business, someone would come in and acquire MasterCard's debt and be like, you pay me now, buddy.
Exactly.
So I would love to learn more about what the logic is here. But, hey, congrats to the people that just got a free Peloton.
Yeah, enjoy.
Peloton Studios celebrated Mother's Day this week, and just in case your butt just puckered, for the men out there,
it's okay.
That's just in the UK.
It's only in the UK.
It's only in the UK.
You didn't do anything wrong yet.
As long as your mother is not a UK citizen,
you're safe.
You don't owe her any flowers. You're okay.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. So far, you're in the clear.
Every year, this one freaks me out.
Does it?
I'm like, Mother's Day, what?
You even said you already have my gift picked out.
I do, but I would have been like, but I didn't give it to you, and you've just been sitting here stewing. That's what I would have thought.
I couldn't last that long. I would have been like, what the hell, Tom?
Yeah. That would have been said at about 8:45 a.m. on Mother's Day.
Is that why you always put my gift out early? Like you always bring it home from work like, I got it. It's here.
It's because you have no patience.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about your lack of patience. If you were a doctor, you'd be out of business because you ain't got no patience. Peloton Studios' brand new social media account also took us behind the scenes of Mayla Wedekind's new live tread class. This is why you don't let me say instructor names.
Mayla. Just say Mayla's.
Mayla.
Her first live tread class. Yeah, that's so cool. I love seeing these behind the scenes, especially because I haven't seen the UK studio. But seeing any studio, I always love. And it's great that she is one of the instructors now. She got to do her first live class. All the instructors were there to support her, which is just lovely. So happy for her. Congrats.
And while we're talking about the Peloton Studios account, which if you haven't been following, you really should. They're doing some fun stuff. They sent Matty Maggiacomo out into the lobby to interview people waiting for their in-studio class.
Yeah,
which is great because this is a great use of Matty because, one, he's funny and he's very engaging with people, but two, like this is kind of his background,
Yeah.
right? Like he started a million years ago doing like red carpet interviews, and this is kind of like that.
It is. And so this particular one, you really need to watch because he wanted to ask things like, which instructor would you want with you in a zombie apocalypse?
Matt
And
Wilpers.
Why Matt?
Well, because I figure just based on past lives, because he was like a big giant corporate accountant or something,
Yeah,
right?
he was.
And so he's got a really smart brain. And I'm figuring that that's probably tasty.
Interesting.
And zombies like brains.
Interesting.
And so they'll just sense it and they'll go for him first.
I see. I thought you were going to use him as a distraction because he was going to run really fast because he's a fast runner, a fast biker. He's got multiple sports down. He could swim. He's a triathlete.
Well, yeah, but he would just the running thing
behind.
is detrimental for my purposes because he
Okay.
would just run away.
Okay, so you're going to sacrifice his brain.
So I'm hoping that because of his brain, that's like a delicacy to a zombie.
So did you just say that you think Matt Wilpers is the most intelligent Peloton instructor?
All I know so little, but I know he had a big fancy career. Although Robin Arzon's an attorney,
and Mayla Wedekind that we were just talking about, she's like a doctor.
Okay, but I'm not going to get attacked by a zombie in Germany.
How do you know?
I just, for these purposes, I know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Who would you pick?
Who would I pick?
Yeah.
Well, that's tough. I mean, a zombie apocalypse. I feel like Rad Lopez.
Okay.
Because I feel like there would be a lot of punching, and he's like really good at boxing. I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
He would like punch the zombies for me.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
So the Ride to Greatness is almost back up and running, and this week we were shown the coaches for Team Activate and Team Validate.
So they're doing things different. Okay, so
Okay.
I thought things were different, but let's talk about this.
Please.
Because now I have to give total props to Nikki and Darcy, thank you. They both have been helping us with lots of articles and lots of things going on with the podcast. But this week, since I was on vacation and when I was recovering, they put together amazing notes for the show. So this context, this background, comes from them.
Okay.
This says that Jess is the team captain.
So you're thanking them, but you're also preemptively blaming them in case they got something wrong.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, just
Yes,
making sure I
yes.
understood fully.
Jess is the team captain for Team Activate. Jen Sherman is the team captain for Team Validate. Now, in the past, team instructors have done warm-ups and cool-downs before the Ride to Greatness classes, and then Alex taught the actual class, aka the competition. However, this year they seem to have all the instructors divided up into teams, and there are instructors on each of those teams that do not teach the bike or the tread platform, so it'll be interesting to see how they're used. Alex is still teaching the actual competition classes on both platforms. So Team Activate, we've got Emma, Cliff, I'm running through these very quickly. Emma, Cliff, Charlotte, Adrian, Robin, Kendall, Katie, Jeffrey, Jermaine, Mila, Eric, Kristen, Logan, Leanne, Marcel M, Sam, Christine, Matt, Anna, Jocelyn, Rebecca, Tunde, Chelsea, Kristen, yes, Mariana, and Mayla. Then on Team Validate, we've got Benny, Hannah F, Tobias, Ali, Cody, Nico, Asal, Alex, Susie, Kira, Hannah C, Rad, Ben, Jess K, Bradley, Andy, Ash, Marcel D, John, Olivia, Camilla, Callie, Dennis, Bex, Maddie, Aditi, Ross, Jess K. Not back officially from maternity leave, so unclear if that means that her return is coming up.
Gotcha.
Phew. Okay, so Wednesday 3:22, train on the bike. Wednesday 3:25, compete on the bike. Wednesday 3:29, train on the tread. Saturday 4:1, compete on the tread. We got this.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
Yep.
So the One Peloton account, not the Peloton Studios account.
Which you're pretty fascinated by.
Yeah, just trying to figure out the logic at play as to why something lives in one place and not in another. Just posted some fun photos this week. College throwback photos. So we got to see Jess Sims in her basketball days. She was also, in case you can't tell by this picture, a robot. Well, a cyborg, because robot is entirely technological, mechanical. Where
I think she just had a knee brace on,
she's
babe.
just part robot, which makes her a cyborg.
I still think it was just a...
Like Amy on Small Wonder. That's a cyborg.
I'm going to go with that was just a knee brace.
Agree to disagree.
All right.
Okay. And Marcel.
Look how young she looks.
Well, it's college.
I
Not
know.
everyone was in college until they were 40 like me.
But she just looks like a baby in this. Just a baby. I mean, obviously, I am 44 years old. Everybody's starting to look like a baby. But she just looks like a baby. And you know what's interesting about Marcel? She looks wiser and more mature, but she doesn't look older. Does that make sense? Like, she looks different than that. She's like a baby there.
Right.
But like in real life, she doesn't look like older. She looks more mature.
Okay.
Wish I could pull that off.
Yeah, me too. I don't really care if I can pull that off or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anyway, just thought that was a fun thing for people.
It is. It's great. I love it.
And coming up after this, Dr. Jenn is going to talk to us about how to find the strength for strength.
Getting the psychological edge with Dr. Jenn.
Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube is Dr. Jenn Mann, licensed marriage, family, and child therapist and sports psychology consultant. She was a 5-year national team member in rhythmic gymnastics and sports psychology for USA Gymnastics. It's Dr. Jenn. Hello.
Hello.
And
Well,
this time she will be answering someone else's question.
I will not monopolize all of Dr. Jenn's time today.
Hey, I'm open to anything that comes my way.
Well, I appreciate that. Our first question is from Steph Marriott Abbott, and she is having issues with committing to strength classes. And she doesn't go into any depth. That's all it says, committing to strength classes. So I'm imagining that means that it's not her favorite thing.
Yeah. So my advice for Steph is a few things. One is start small. Sometimes people go, okay, I need to do a strength class and I'm going to either do like one of the full-on programs where you're not picking your next class. And sometimes the next class isn't necessarily what you want to do at that very given moment in time. Or sometimes people are like, okay, I have to do a 30-minute strength class. Start small. Start with 5 minutes or 10 minutes and build on it and vary it day by day. So like, do a leg day, do a 10-minute leg day, do a 10-minute core day, a 10-minute arms day, and don't do it 7 days a week. So that way you also have something to look forward to. Make sure you pick your favorite instructors. Also do searches for songs you like or artists that you like so that you have something to look forward to. If you find a class that you really like, don't hesitate to take it again. I know a lot of the time people will say like, oh, I can't take the same class again. But when you're trying to get in the groove, that's a good way to do it.
That's a good,
Yeah.
lots of good ideas there.
Can I throw one out?
Of course.
Since I do the strength now.
Sure, Tom.
So
Tonal Tom.
Yeah, well, let's not go crazy. But so, I do tonal, and so they add weight incrementally. And which I guess you should theoretically be doing on your own with strength training, right? But like one of the things it took me a while to kind of wrap my head around and make my peace with is that it will never, if you're doing it right, it will never feel easier, right? Like it's like you always have to be lifting just a little bit outside of what you can comfortably lift or it doesn't work. And so it's like it kind of clicked for me one day that like, oh, I'm never going to feel like I got good at this. It's always going to be a struggle because that's what makes it work.
And actually, and there are two other things I want to add. One is also the timing of it, is that if you hate your strength, do it at the beginning of your workout. If you love your cardio, if you love your ride, if you love your run or your row or whatever it is, get the strength over in the beginning, because what can happen, and I've done this myself with, believe it or not, stretching, which I actually love, but sometimes I magically run out of time and I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to do a 5-minute stretch at the end of this class, but I just don't have time. Oh, maybe I'll do it later tonight. And then somehow it doesn't happen. Start with the thing that you least like, get that over with at the beginning.
Like marriages.
Exactly like marriage.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Exactly.
But cheaper.
So, yes, that is true. That is very true. So try to get that over with. And then there was something else I was going to add. The other thing that you want to think about is, what is your motivation for doing the strength training? And I find in my experience working with people, the least effective motivation is looking a certain way, because that is the one thing you can't control. So if your motivation is, I want to avoid osteoporosis, and so weight bearing exercise is really important for me, that's a great one. If it is, I want to be able to lift a bottle of water and carry it by myself to the kitchen, that's a great one. So think about what motivation you have, what it is that makes you want to do this outside of an aesthetic that you're hoping to accomplish, and let that be your motivation and remind yourself of it. You can even put like a Post-it note on the wall, like osteoporosis, don't get it. Like whatever it is that is your motivation, have a reminder there so that you can push yourself to do the thing that you least like to do. And then also keep in mind, even though Tom is 100% right, that strength training is one of those things that it will always be difficult, because when you improve, you have to increase your weight and increase your reps and all of that. So it never gets easy. But there is a sense of accomplishment when it does get easier and you're able to make that leap. That's inspiring and exciting.
It is.
Yeah, you will see that leap outside of the gym.
Yeah.
Right? Like in other areas of your life, when all of a sudden you can grab 4 bags of groceries instead of 2, or what have you.
Or just...
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the pandemic, I when I had to bring a case of water in, it hurt my back. It was really tough. Now I can just like carry it very easily, and it's kind of one of those little measures that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm really coming along.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very inspiring, both of you.
So 2 big takeaways from this: osteoporosis, don't get it.
Yes.
2, Tom was 100% right. That was said out loud.
Yes.
So
by a professional.
By a woman.
Even rarer. So thank you so much for all that. Until next time, where can we find you?
You can find me on all social media at Dr. Jenn Man, 2 N's on Jen, 2 N's on Man.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Instructors in the news.
So the Ally Love hosted Dance 100 premiered on Netflix last week, and it is doing very well. It actually made it to number 8 within Netflix's own charts.
Yeah, and I find that fascinating because like Netflix doesn't really like let people have a lot of visual into.
Yeah, they'll show you top 10 in your thing, so you kind of know what's popular.
Yeah.
So nothing draws a crowd like a crowd, but they never really like to release hard data.
No, they don't. Yeah, totally. I agree.
And when they do, it tends to be like really vague, like, oh, there was, what was this? I heard that, was it Stranger Things, that they were like, over 2 billion hours have been streamed, which what does that even mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
a lot, but like in relation to what?
Yeah. Exactly.
So that means lots of Ally Love this week as she makes the round. She was on The View talking about Dance 100.
Yeah, she seemed to make lots of comments on that one. Hang on, let's see. The new show started on 3:15, and then on The View, she talked about before she was a model, when she was a model, she was a backup dancer for Beyonce. And she also talked about what inspired her to start talking about her recovery from her car accident. Mm-hmm. She realized during the pandemic that she didn't want people thinking that everything came easily for her and that she worked hard physically to heal her body. And she also explained the premise of Dance 100. It's a dance show, but it's actually a choreographer competition. The dancers dance, but they vote for the choreographer they think should win, not the other dancers that they think should win.
Oh, interesting.
That is interesting. And I've heard it's only like 6 episodes and people are loving it so far.
Oh, that's cool. I also think it's interesting because last week I posited that the Today Show had her on because maybe they felt like it was competition to
That's right.
Dancing with the Stars. But here she is on The View, which is an ABC show, which is also the network that airs Dancing with the Stars. So I guess they didn't see it as too much of a competition. I don't guess people really see the world through those prisms anymore.
Apparently not.
Not the way they used to. And Ally Love was featured in Variety, which is a huge trade magazine in the media
I thought
industry.
we talked about this last week.
Did we? I don't think so, because it's from March 17th, which would have been the day that episode
Clearly
came out.
not. I bet it just got listed on the list after that.
We're good. We're not that good, though.
I thought it was interesting, that picture that you just had up that Variety used, though, because I remember that picture being like Peloton used that, or somebody used it like way early on in Allie's career at Peloton. So it's like a old picture.
Gotcha.
I mean, there are no old pictures from the Peloton time, but I'm just saying in the
it's been used for a while. Yeah. And then also she talked to tvline.com, which I'm not familiar with.
I'm not either.
The website looks reputable.
It does. But and
some of them you go to and you're like, this site's janky.
I know, when they're like, the one that always posts the thing about like, did Cody break up with so-and-so? And they like, and then it's like, click here, then click here, then click here. And there are no answers.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Written by a Russian bot.
Yeah. This one's an actual interview, and they asked lots of questions of Allie, and they got her lots of answers too. Lots of answers from her, rather.
So Marcel Dinkins ran in the Shamrock Marathon last week.
Not only did she run in it, she hosted it.
Oh, that's right. Hosted it. Sorry.
She did both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Somewhere here in my notes, I have all of her details. So she hosted it. She was the designated hype person, because of course she was. And so if you're wondering, the Shamrock Shuffle takes place in Virginia Beach. She posted this highlight reel, which is what we're showing. And she was at the there was a highlight reel from the race, rather.
Okay.
She was shown at the very beginning, and then they did a post-race reel. She also ran the entire 8K with a finish time of 45 minutes and 37 seconds. That's 9:11. So it's 9:11 minutes per mile. I can't talk.
9 minutes, 11 seconds?
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm trying to say. Whew.
And look at that. She's hosting marathons. It seems like just 2 segments ago she was in college. They grow up so fast.
Totally. And I guess she ran it last year. It was her first marathon last year. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah. And also Endurance Sportswire also covered the event. So
very cool.
So it's got nice right up there as well.
Wow. Good job, Marcel.
Cliff
Dwenger.
I always struggle with that one.
Just say Cliff.
It just feels like rude to not say his
Clifty.
Cliff.
I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to give him a radio personality name.
Now it feels like I'm trying too hard. But I guess he was on The Voice in Germany.
Yeah.
And
it was 2019.
Yeah. And so he said he's posting on Instagram about it, and it says, when Michael Patrick Kelly said, when I'm in Germany, I'll bring you up on stage. And then he did. Now, I don't know who that is.
I don't either, but it's cool that he was up on stage with him.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's somebody who's a big deal in Germany or just a big deal. And I don't know, because I'm 52.
Yeah, we're not the demo.
Yeah. But that's cool that he was on the Voice.
It is.
I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Tunde spoke at the Eastview Mall, which is in Rochester, New York.
I thought this was so random. Mall. This was just Tunde just showing up at a mall.
Yeah, like when this popped up in the feed of news stories, it was just like, she's doing what now? Like,
and she was at Dick's Sporting Goods specifically.
Okay.
I believe, and so I don't know if it was like, because Peloton has the partnership with Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yeah, no, I was wondering that as well.
That happened.
Yeah,
I was kind of just fascinated by, like, how did this come to be?
Right. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And clearly people showed up.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious of like what happened here.
Yeah.
How did that, like you said, how did that come to be?
And she was talking about her book, Speak, and lots of people were there. And the lady who interviewed her, she was a Peloton. She is a Peloton user as well.
Okay.
So
and she also works at Cinnabon.
No, she doesn't.
I'm pretty sure she does.
I'm pretty sure she doesn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at my notes. Orange Julius.
Orange Julius.
My apologies.
Thanks for fixing that.
My apologies.
Yeah. Glad we got that straightened out.
So Logan Aldridge was brought in to give a keynote to the Cincinnati Reds to get them geared up for the season.
Yeah, so this is a cool video. He was there, and I saw him post about this when he first got back, and he was just like, "This is the best," and he was like, I am Team Cincinnati Reds this year. But he had a great time getting everybody all stoked and everything, and I thought that was really neat. And it's great that he posted this video so that other people could see it as well.
Alex Toussaint showed off his super fancy home gym on the gram this week.
He did, but did you notice that everything in there? So it's a full custom gym. So every weight, every single thing in it has his logo. On it, and the above it says like "Do Better," which is his logo.
Yeah,
and it's branded all over it. Now, the other interesting thing that you got to know here is that this was designed and installed by Callie Gullickson's husband.
How about that?
Yeah. And I think that's really cool. So Alex did a whole post about it and said thank you. So that's pretty awesome.
So I'm just curious because I'm not used to seeing the tread from that angle. Is that a tread or a tread plus?
Tread, not a tread plus. I checked.
I was just curious, and I thought at first, I'm like, I'll be able to look tell by looking, but
it's that lighting was hard. There's another image you can see the red line on it, and that one you couldn't.
Gotcha.
But yeah, all of the weights have the AT on there. You see that?
Yeah, I see that. But yeah, like the way you have yours, it butts up against the wall, so I can't see it from the angle that he shows.
Well, see how it's flat? There are no treads. There are no slats. That's how you can tell.
There you go.
Yep. No slats.
Speaking of showing off fancy home systems, Jess Sims showed off her fancy closet.
Yes, but did you see the sneaker collection in there?
I did, as a matter of fact.
I am so jealous. Look at the
clothes are organized in rainbow order.
There's so many workout clothes. I want Jess Sims' closet, and I want it now. Look at those sneakers. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, be still my heart. Look at that. It just goes on and on. There are hundreds of sneakers in there. Hundreds. I'm so jealous. Amazing.
Robin Arzon will be appearing at the Los Angeles Times Festival of Books.
Yeah, and they have quite the lineup. From what I understand from the gentleman who sent this to me, this is a pretty big deal in LA, this whole Festival of Books. So that's really cool that she gets to be on there.
Just going down the names.
Omar Epps, Stacey Abrams,
Joan Baez,
Laura
Dern, Dave Eggers, Jennifer Garner, Lauren Graham,
Steve Madden.
And there's probably 60 people on this.
Yeah, we're not going to read them all to you.
Idina Menzel.
I think it's Adina.
What did I say?
You said Idina.
Oh, sorry. Idina Menzel, Chrissy Metz. There's lots of big names on here. So,
yeah.
And they have her. Well, I was going to say they have hers very high, but they listed them alphabetically.
Yes.
I
so
see
that makes
now.
sense.
Megan Trainor. So
I mean, that's a really, really cool list. Congratulations to Robin for that one. And that's in April, if you were wondering. So
Bradley Rose had a post last week that made people think he might be becoming a tread instructor.
Yes. Okay, so from my notes.
To the notes.
He is not joining the tread team. Yes, he did put this reel out there. He posted about it about not listening to what others think, but he was in the tread studio. He says... He very graciously but firmly said in several replies to comments he is not coming to the tread, citing that he is, quote unquote, not built for it.
Okay.
So leave Bradley alone.
Matt Wilpers, your best bet in distracting a zombie?
In your opinion?
I feel pretty confident about this. Who do you think between the two of us is going to know more about zombies?
And that would definitely be you.
There you go.
But I think we would have a killer team. So I think Matt Wilpers and Rad Lopez, I think that'd be killer because Matt would be distracting them.
While they're eating Matt's brain,
yeah,
Rad could just go up and punch him.
There you go.
Meanwhile, we run away.
Yeah.
Walk.
Well, no, we just walk behind them.
Walk briskly away.
There you go.
I think we all know, even in a zombie apocalypse,
you're not running.
I'm not running.
I would run, but my endurance sucks now.
I don't want to live in a world where I have to run. So... I'm just you know what? You guys go on. I'll let him eat my brain.
This is where I get off.
Yeah. I would I'd be a great person to turn into a zombie because even as a zombie, I'd be like, I'd eat your brain, but that just seems like a lot of work. So I think we're good. And there would just be less zombies getting made.
Right.
It'd be like the zombie equivalent of having a vasectomy.
You've solved zombie apocalypse.
I have. You see any zombies around here?
Nope.
You're welcome.
Thanks for fixing that.
So back to Matt Wilpers. He ran the New York City Half Marathon.
Cool.
Okay, thanks, bye.
20 minutes on zombie apocalypse,
Yes.
2 seconds on Matt running the New York City Half Marathon.
And I'm like, did he even break a sweat?
I know.
No, he didn't.
It was cold that day. They said it was abnormally cold. A lot of
I'm
people
just saying a
posted
half
about it.
marathon for him
13 miles.
is like, yeah.
I know.
That's like a fun size bag
like a
of
warm-up.
M&Ms for me.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that's nothing.
Right?
Nothing.
Where's the rest of them?
And coming up after this, Angelo is going to have tips for you on how to get more protein in your diet. Joining us once again via the magic of ZoomTube is Angelo from MetPro, here to answer all of your fitness and nutrition questions. If you're wondering what the weird pause and look was for, it's because I have a little clicker that I use to set the clock so we know how long these things are.
Yeah.
And for some reason, sometimes it turns on our TV.
Yeah, and it turned on the TV. I
And
was
it would turn on
ignoring
the TV on. I was like, why is the TV on?
Yeah, it's not supposed to turn that on. It's like an extra remote. It has extra powers.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so we have lots of people asking about protein this week. So we have, let's see here. We have Caitlin Sky Lee asking about making a protein-rich meal prep as a vegetarian. And then we have Tiffany saying that she is recovering from an injury since July and surgery in January. And she is looking for help to get her protein levels up. And then Rachel Cook is looking for on-the-go protein that isn't jerky or nuts.
Okay, sure. All right, let's handle those one at a time. So go back to the first one. She's looking for meal prep.
Yeah, so protein-rich meal prep as a vegetarian. That's easy
as a vegetarian.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So she's in a full-time PhD program, and so she's gone Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and all day on Saturday, on Friday and Saturday. So
Got it. So, there are literally 101 different options, but I'm just going to give you some of the most common ones that I use with my clients that are, whether they're vegetarian or just plant forward, let's call it. They want more plant-based proteins, because I'm always looking for the combination of it needs to be quick, it needs to be non-messy, and it needs to be the harder one with some vegetarian proteins is the low perishability when you get into, for example, dairy. Now, if you're vegan, you're not going to be having dairy. But the simple go-tos that I like, the first thing right out of the gate, get yourself a quality vegan or vegetarian protein powder. Now, here's what that solves so much as far as, I'm worried about my protein needs. It's so easy to just add that in once, twice a day, and you can very dramatically and easily increase your protein levels. What that doesn't do is satisfy any sort of appetite. So it's not going to be like, great, I had that whole meal of that vegan protein shake. I'm good for hours. That's not going to happen. That's just basically to make sure you're getting your protein intake high enough. But it's okay to supplement a meal. So for example, if you go and have a meal that's mostly plant-based, for example, beans or rice, veggies, etc., and you're consistently, I'm low on protein. There's nothing wrong with just adding half a scoop of a vegan protein powder into your water bottle. And now, bam, you've got an extra 25, 30 grams. Super easy. I'll give you one more little life hack on that. When you carry it with you, because everyone says, well, I'm not at home, where my jug of protein powder. what you do is you get the single serving miniature Ziploc bags, and you just take 10 minutes one day and just put a scoop in a Ziploc bag and just make a big stack of them. And you can just grab a few of those, throw them in your purse, in your briefcase, what have you. And then when it's time to have a protein shake, you just grab one of those Ziploc bags, you tear the corner. Don't open the Ziploc.
Do not open this. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Tear the corner, and then you pour it into a water bottle or your jug, and it's super easy. They're like self-serve packets, and you can buy them in individualized packets. You're going to pay 3 times for the same amount of protein powder, but this is just a few little life hacks. Now, outside of that, when you're doing meal prep, your go-tos are going to be, you have dairy as an option. Cottage cheese is so easy, so quick. Low-fat string cheese works as an easy on-the-go snack. You can always go to that. And if you're not going to do a lot of dairy, then tofu is great. I'm a big fan of what Trader Joe's carries, because they have a little packet where you get the kind of the 2 little slabs of flavored tofu, where they've done it in the sriracha or the teriyaki and they really do a good job of adding minimal calories to it, but it has some flavor, and it's good cooked in something, mixed in a stir fry or whatever you like. And it's also good just as a side by itself, even cold. I'll do it sometimes when I'm trying to mix in a little bit more plant-based protein. So those are a couple real easy go-tos. You can also there are some quality protein bars out there. Now, the reason that's not the first thing is everybody asks, well, protein bars, they're quick, they're easy, they're not messy. This is true. The industry has not really dialed in a low-calorie, high-protein bar that tastes not like cardboard. If you found a brand that is quality and it also has protein and it also tastes good, it's probably more of a meal replacement bar. In other words, it has additional calories from carbohydrates and possibly fats. And that is just fine if you're not trying to cut calories. If you're trying to cut calories, it's probably worth the effort to do some meal prep, some of these other protein sources. And one of the things that we were actually talking about in one of our previous episodes that's become more popular is they have vegetarian burgers now. You have to do a little bit of self-investigation and read the package, because some vegan or vegetarian protein burgers don't have that much protein. They're still mostly carbs. Most of them, however, are high in protein and just have moderate to low carbs. What you're looking for is a 1-to-1 ratio or better. In other words, stick with the brands that are going to give you 50%. In other words, if you look at calories from grams of carbs and protein on the back, the protein should be as high or higher than the carbs, and that's probably a decent starting place. So those are the quick go-tos, and probably someone has heard me before with the jerky and the nuts, and there's a reason that we use those. Turkey jerky and nuts are among my favorite, because they're so portable and low perishable. In other words, I can have someone who's traveling throw it even in their suitcase, and it's still okay. But there are other options, and if you're traveling, the first thing we tell our clients, whenever you get there, just make part of your routine to hit any simple grocery store on the way and just stock up on simple things. If you're not vegan or vegetarian, it becomes even a lot easier. So now what you can do is you can grab a can of tuna. You can even grab a can of the organic canned chicken. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but you can spruce up even a salad on the go. It makes food prep really easy, especially when you're not making that the entree. You're just sprinkling that in with what you're eating. It gets easy to start increasing protein levels. Now, I've threw a bunch out there. Did I? Whose questions didn't I cover?
No, I think you got it all. I will add for your protein that isn't jerky or nuts. Also, it's nut butter, but don't forget those
nut butter.
Oh, Tom,
what?
The almond butter packets, like Justin's almond butter packets. Those are great for on the go as well. So just had to throw that out there.
Yes, I love that. Back in the day, they sent us a big case. Actually, when they were just starting up, we were big fans of using that because they were just the travel size, and they sent us a big case of it. I remember all the trainers in the back room enjoyed those for almost
I just see you guys all back
a little
there.
too much.
Ketchup packets. Oh, well, that was lots of very good advice for protein. So thank you.
Yeah. And the almond butters, I saw the almond butters open for Neil Young about 10 years ago. They were really good. No?
Wah, wah.
So on that note, where can people find you if they would like things like this tailored to their specific needs?
Netpro.co/TCO.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Peloton artist collaboration.
We have a new artist collaboration, this time with Shakira.
Yeah, so this was posted over on the Peloton Studios, and it's going to be a 30 ride with Camila Ramon, March 23rd, 7 p.m. Eastern, listing it as a premiere. Not listed as
like
an
a whole
artist
series.
collaboration.
Normally you would think an artist of Shakira's magnitude.
Yeah, I wonder if it
would
has
get
something to do
more.
with like they're doing something just for this Women's History Month, and it's just like one ride.
Right.
And so they couldn't call it a collaboration. I don't know.
No.
Past guest update.
So we have a past guest update about Danielle Verway. You might remember.
Yeah, Danielle was on, gosh, I can't remember what episode it was, but she was on, and her leaderboard name is A Fit Cookie, so you've probably seen her. Well, Mr. Fit Cookie, her husband, also known as Paul, has just been diagnosed with a rare bone cancer.
Ooh.
And so Danielle's trying to do everything she can to take care of everybody. So first of all, if you see her, drop a high five to show your love. And you can also follow A Fit Cookie Made Me Do It to let you know that you're there for her and her family. And also, there's going to be a lot of changes for the family. So if anybody would like to support Danielle, Paul, and the kids in any way, you can go to the You Get To crew. And Anisha Blakely is asking people to let her know. She will be helping. Also, there is a GoFundMe that is listed in the You Get To crew as well. So just putting that out there for anybody to support our fellow Peloton friends.
Absolutely.
Good luck to Danielle and Paul and family.
For sure.
In case you missed it.
Katie Wong and Ash Pryor have the first ever 2-for-1 row for Women's History Month.
Yeah, and it happened on March 20th. I'm super excited to take this out. I will say I'm very looking forward to taking this row when we get back.
Yes.
Very much looking forward to it. And they're just both so delightful. It's great that they were able to be the first and to make history within the Peloton world.
So we had an interesting thing on our website this week, a review of yoga conditioning classes.
Yes, Tina Freiling took the first one on last Wednesday night whenever it popped up, and she was kind enough to write up a review about it. I really appreciated the review because I have not had a chance to take the class yet. So it takes your regular yoga classes and it adds a very light amount of strength to it. So, 2 and 3 pound dumbbells, but also sitting in the poses longer. So one of the examples Tina gave was like using blocks in ways that might make it more difficult. Like, let's say you're doing a downward dog, but then you put the block between your legs and squeeze your thighs. Like that really gets into the muscles in your thighs in a very different way than it would just doing the downward dog. So there are lots of little things like that are happening. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Aditi Shaw posted this week, just wanting to make sure everybody knows that morning stacks are on Mondays.
I love this. There's also a new collection out there that's Good Morning Peloton, and it's got all kinds of meditations and morning yoga flows. I love them. I did one before we left on vacation. So you get a little morning yoga, you get a little morning meditation, and they are going to be taking place every Monday, these stacks. That's great.
Peloton Studios has a post, which I assume will probably become a weekly post.
It has become a weekly post. I just didn't post it last week.
Gotcha. This week at Peloton, just a roundup of things that might interest you.
Yeah. So they've got all the 2-for-1 classes. There was tread boot camp, of course, the tread row, and then they have this Anna. There's going to be 4th trimester yoga classes, so new mom yoga.
Okay.
And then, of course, the hip hop 50 years of hip hop is being celebrated, and then the Allie loves 30-minute ride. I believe that Allie's 30-minute ride is also from the Dance 100. So like she took music from that.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
And there are new lane break levels for those who are interested.
Yes, we alluded to this a couple weeks ago that there would be Kylie Minogue hits. There were going to be 2 classes. Hits number 1 is out now. It's a 30-minute level that has the best of. And then there's Women's History Month Dance 2. And there's a whole bunch of different artists there. And then there's 80s pop essentials. And that includes Aha, Blondie, Divinals. Is that how you say that?
Divinals.
And then
They
Talk
sang
Talk.
Touch Myself.
I thought so, but I didn't remember how that was pronounced.
Yeah.
And then Talk Talk and more.
Awesome.
Very cool. I love lane break so much.
Peloton birthdays.
And finally, we have one birthday this week. It is from Bex Gentry.
Happy birthday to Bex Gentry. It is March 27th. So new mom will be celebrating her birthday. It's so cool.
Coming up after this, we're going to talk to Mara Reinstein. She is a writer about all things pop culture. So you know how excited that's going to get me. So
Yes.
we will go down some rabbit holes, but there'll be Peloton stuff in there too.
Lots of Peloton stuff.
Don't you worry. You're pretty little head about it. So it's coming up right after this.
Checking in with the Peloton community.
Joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Mara Reinstein. Hey, Mara, how's it going?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you here.
And for people that are listening, you need to go to our YouTube channel so you can see
her super cool microphone.
Yeah, but then you have to see my face. So you
It's
know
like
what? Audio is
adorable.
fine. Audio is fine.
it lights up. It's like she's talking into Studio 54.
Yeah.
It
I
is
love it.
pretty. It's a
It
very
is
pretty
very pretty.
microphone. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do you use something like that when you ride the Peloton? That's what I have. Because like so many people, we have our disco lights. So now I'm curious.
No, I'm in that said, I'm about 3 feet away from my Peloton. I'm in my office in New York City. And because it's New York City, you know, you have to sort of multitask all the rooms. So this is my office / Peloton room.
Okay.
And you only get like 150 square feet.
Yeah. New
in
York
which
makes
to
it
reside.
hard.
150. It's not, I don't even know if it's even that, but it's a small, it's got room. You know, I have a mat and I have the shoes and weights and it does the job.
Well, then you just turn on your microphone when you do the workout and then you can see the little flashes of
It
light.
changes colors. Is it like a mood microphone?
No, it's just based, I think it's based on just the tenor of my voice, I would imagine.
I was just trying to figure out like if you're getting mad at us,
Right?
it'll tell us.
But now that you say it, why haven't I thought to do the Peloton with the lights out and just this microphone?
I don't know, but it sounds like it would be fun.
Fun for me, maybe not for anyone else, but maybe I don't know. Maybe you've given me food for thought. I will give you that. Yes.
I'm going to recommend a DJ ride if you do that. Just, you know, like I feel like it would really give you the ambiance.
Or lane break.
Oh,
I hate-
yeah. Lane break. Oh, yeah.
I hate the DJ rides. Not happening. I should tell you right now, I keep it real when it comes to all things Peloton and actually all things in general, but no DJ rides for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that the DJ or the type of music or what's?
Okay. I guess we'll just go into it.
We have to now.
I'm going to say something really controversial.
Okay.
I don't like the rides with the member. I don't like the member rides. I like it when it's just the instructor and
All right.
that's it. I find myself I got a little spoiled during the pandemic when they didn't have them in there. And mind you, I have been invited to go. It has nothing to do with I understand why they have the members in there. I get it. It's a vibe. I'm sure if I were in the room, I would be thrilled to be in the room, but I don't need to see randoms when I am riding. I don't like
I would think you'd love lane break then, because not only does it doesn't have any people of any
it's
kind.
all music. It's all music.
Wait, what is lane break? You're breaking news to me. What is this?
Okay, so on your bike, there's a game that you
breaking
can
news.
play.
Oh, no, I don't play games either, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're killing me.
Aren't you so glad you had me on? Continue.
Okay.
This week, our interview will just tell us all the things she doesn't do.
Welcome. Now we're best friends. Now we know. But go ahead. I'm curious.
Okay. So on the bike, there is a game, and it plays. Okay, so it's music, and so like it can be it's usually a theme class of some kind, and you could do anything like soft rock or hard rock or whatever, and you pick it, and it can be anywhere from 5 minutes to like 30 minutes. It comes on the screen.
What?
And
it looks like Tron.
It looks like Tron. And so you're on the bike and you are riding, and then like you increase the resistance or decrease the resistance to move across the lanes, and they'll tell you like which lane you need to be in. It's like they point to, this is where you should be. And the idea is to follow along perfectly.
It's like Guitar Hero for your bike.
Exactly.
Wait. And this happens in the middle of the class?
No. It's a separate class.
Separate.
It's a whole separate thing. You don't see an instructor. It's like a video game on your screen.
And how long does it last?
Anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes. They have different. You can choose different ones.
This is breaking news to me. How do I access the lane break?
When you go to your bike and you know how you like see the home screen, and then look at the bottom and it says more rides. And when you click on that, it's going to bring up just ride. And then scenic rides, and then lane break, and you click on lane break, and then you access the world of amazing.
And I pick the music.
No, well, you pick the class type. So they curate it. They curate it, and so the game is like in sync with the music. So like one of my favorites is the Alanis Morissette one that they did, and like it's a whole class. It's all Alanis Morissette, and I love it, love it, love it.
I'm definitely doing this. I'm not just saying it. I've done the scenic rides, but the scenic rides were missing music, which is why I stopped doing them.
There you go.
Is perfect.
Now it's a game, so I don't know how you feel about that.
I don't need to win. It's fine. I just like the fact that it's a little different. I like that.
It is. I really have grown to absolutely love them because there's no instructor. So you're just following. It's just you and your bike, and it's beautiful.
Okay. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you. This has been very informative. We're only like 5 minutes into this, and the best thing I've ever done, at least for today. So, all right.
Okay. So what I usually open with is, how did you find Peloton? I just like to hear people's backstories of like how they fell into this, because a lot of people that lately it's been the pandemic, but there are people that it's all over the place. So I'm curious.
Okay. Again, being honest here. I don't even know if I could even. All right. I'll just say it. I used to be an extremely hardcore OG SoulCycle rider. I live in New York.
This is over.
I know. Come back, and I'll get there. I live in New York City. I went to SoulCycle when it was literally one room, like a little room in the back of an apartment building, and had nothing else. So this is before 2010, at least. And I was extremely devoted to SoulCycle. My friends would talk about Peloton and what Peloton is, and it would just be a major eye roll. I said, like, I will never do Peloton. I don't know how you can ride a bike and not with other people. This sounds so boring. This will never be me.
And now you don't even want an instructor in the room.
Cut to. All right. So that was me.
Cut.
This was me for more than a decade. Okay. That's how long I had been doing SoulCycle for.
Okay.
Even then, March of 2020, the pandemic is starting up. I'm still in New York City. I take a SoulCycle class and I look around and I think, maybe this isn't the smartest way to stay healthy and avoid germs. Like, it finally kind of dawned on me for the first time. And then I wound up going to, this is where Peloton is kicking in, I swear. I stay with my parents at their house in Michigan. I think it's going to be for 2 weeks. I pack a little suitcase. It ends up being 6 months.
We were all so naive back then.
We were so naive. I only pack winter clothes, right? Little did I know I'd stay through the entire
Michigan
summer.
doesn't have summers. So
There was a summer for a 2-week stretch in July. And then, so my mom actually has a Peloton, and she was not like a regular user. I think she did like a 20-minute low impact here or there, just to sort of say that she had it.
Yeah.
And I looked at it as, well, I'm not going to get SoulCycle anymore. I still kind of want to use a bike. I'm going to try it out. My mom's Peloton at the time was very new. She had gone maybe for a few months. And then I really started getting into it. I actually started getting my mom really into it, where this was one of our ways of bonding during the pandemic was, we would have dinner with my dad, watch Jeopardy. And then as soon as Jeopardy is over, it's like, who's going to do the Peloton at 8:00? We would trade off, honestly. And she would do, my mom being a baby boomer from Detroit, would do all the Motown rides. And I would, of course, being in my 40s, do a lot of 80s and 90s rides. And so that's how I got it. And then by the time I got back to New York, I moved. I did an apartment rental, because things were so cheap at the time, got a bigger place. First thing I did when I got the new place was get a Peloton bike. So now my mom and I have matching Pelotons, and I use the bike quite a bit. I have not been to SoulCycle since March of 2020, since that one class where I swore for years, you guys, that I would never betray my SoulCycle. Now it has been over almost 3 years to the day.
Wow.
And I just stopped. And now I'm Peloton. That's my Peloton story.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think a lot of people could relate to that. I really do.
I like you and your mom.
Yeah. That I was about to say, do you guys still ride? Do you ride together?
No,
do you bond
never.
together?
My mom isn't like tech savvy. Like, it took her a while to even figure out like how to turn it. She used to call me in a panic. Like, how does this work? How does this work? So no, we don't ride together, but literally 3 days ago, she called me so excited. My mom is 75 years old, by the way. My mom called me so excited that because she loved Leanne's Motown ride. So like, we'll tell each other. We both really love also Jen Sherman's yacht rock rides. And so sometimes we'll do a yacht rock ride at a live class in the summertime. But we do. We talk about I know she's having one on Sunday.
Okay, I was going to say, since
I'm aware.
I just wanted to make sure you were aware that was happening.
Obviously, I'm aware. I'm going to be out of town on Sunday. I can't do it. My mom wrote it in her organizer, in her planner, like Jen, 45-minute yacht rock, so she doesn't forget. So I'm actually a little jealous of my mom that she gets to take a yacht rock ride in March. But
This reminds me of my mom. She used to, if she's like, she would call me and then say, I need to email you something. So email me so I can reply to it. That's
our moms, how are they not friends? My mom is like, oh, I checked my email. I'm like, no, you mean your text. She thinks that texting and email is the same thing. She like called Uber for 10 years. No, I'm sure. Listen, obviously I love my mom so much. I'm sure she's thrilled that I gave her age away on the air. But her handle is her handle is Motor City Grandma. Everyone should follow. I know. So there you go.
That's fabulous. I feel like I've seen her on the leaderboard because I remember that leaderboard name. I love that leaderboard name.
That is a good name.
She's nowhere near the leaderboard. Neither am I. I highly doubt it, considering, that she, again, was alive for the heyday of Motown, but she's there.
That's all
I feel free to
matters.
high-five her. Yeah.
I'm at the bottom of the leaderboard.
So am I. I'm always at the bottom.
I have to ask you.
Oh, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
So if your mom was there for the heyday of Motown, like in Motown,
right.
So did she see all those acts like before they were famous and they were like still playing clubs and stuff?
Wow.
No, my mom wasn't that kind of teenager. I think she just listened to it on the radio. She did a college dance to Stop in the Name of Love when it was at the top of the charts, like that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
I don't think she was like clubbing in downtown Detroit. She grew up like at the Metro, not downtown. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool though. It's
No,
It
it's
is
so cool.
cool.
Yeah, to be at the epicenter of a movie.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
She could listen to Motown. Like I grew up with the Big Chill soundtrack. Like it's all she played in the car when I was growing up. Yeah, that kind
That
of
was
thing.
a good soundtrack.
It really was. Had
That's a
hits.
movie people never reference anymore, and that movie was so huge at the time.
Yeah,
I know it's never replayed on HBO, even though it has so many stars before they really hit it big. And it had that amazing soundtrack. Lawrence Kasdan, wrote it and directed it. Michigan guy. By the way, I write about movies in my spare time, so I
have a movie
these little
podcast,
details.
so-
Yeah.
So
I sense a rabbit hole.
Thank you. Sorry about the rabbit hole, but no,
she's
I
used to
agree.
it. She's married to a rabbit hole.
Yeah, exactly. No, because my next question was going to be, tell us about what you do for a living. So we can just go down that road.
I'm an entertainment journalist. I write about famous people. I interview famous people. I've written for every single outlet that you have heard of and every outlet that you've not heard of. And I also review movies for Us Weekly and for Reader's Digest. And I used to for SiriusXM and not anymore on the latter, but I'm very steeped into the entertainment world.
Wow.
That's awesome.
It is.
It's fun,
So
yeah.
you review movies for Reader's Digest, so that means you had to see 80 for Brady.
Yeah, that's so funny. I did review 80 for Brady for Reader's Digest. And it's only one a month. Reader's Digest is like a monthly, sometimes a bi-monthly. So the one
Is it? I didn't realize they had cut the circulation to that.
Oh, yeah. It's not every week at all. So I did do 80 for Brady. That was the February pick. Good call.
I could do it for a living.
You did it. And today I went to a screening this morning of a new movie. And that was for Us
did you
Weekly.
watch? What did you watch?
I saw this movie called A Good Person. It was written and directed by Zach Braff, starring Florence Pugh and Morgan Freeman. It will be out at the end of March. So I don't know if it'll be out by the time this airs or streams or whatever, but there you go.
Yeah. Okay.
You can't say because you're
Can't say.
Embargo.
You know what's up.
I
Can't
know.
say a word. Can't say a
So
word.
I went to a screening the other day, and
this is funny.
pissed me off. This is the first time I heard this. So I went to a screening for Ant-Man. Right as they're getting ready to start the movie, because it was just for critics, right as they're getting ready to start it, the review guy stands up, and I like from the company. He stands up and he goes, "Okay, you're embargoed on this until Friday." Okay, yeah, that's normal, but you're embargoed for spoilers until next Friday. And I was like,
wow.
Wait. I was like, first off, you. Second, like, this movie comes out on Friday. Once it's in theaters, I can say, like, I'm not going to deliberately spoil a movie for somebody, but I literally have a podcast called Real Spoilers, right? Like, where we talk about the movie like it's a book club, and we assume that you've already seen the movie. That's the whole premise of the show. But I'm like, once the movie's been released, like, you can't tell me what I can and can't say. But I was livid.
He was very.
I have to say, there's now, I mean, in the recent years, they've had the social media embargo.
Sure.
Right.
And then the review embargo. I've never heard of a spoiler embargo. So, wow.
I was stunned. Like I said, and it was a week after the movie opened. So I'm just like, wait, so if I leave the screening right now and then just buy a ticket to see it on the soft open on Thursday, are you still going to yell at me? I didn't.
Right.
Like, what's the rules now? Like, why are the rules different for me? Because I do this. Well, I don't get paid for it, but I do this for a living. I was mad.
I don't blame you. That's annoying.
I knew you would feel my pain.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So, all right. Well, so you do all these different movie things. You write for all the entertainment. Tell us, what does that look like for, like, what does a day in your life look like? I would think that there's a lot of reading and research and
No 2 days are alike, honestly, which is why my job is so fun. I work for like many different outlets. And like I said, well, today was a pretty typical day. I started off with the screening, and then I came back to my apartment and did some writing on I can't say what it's for, but it's a big series that's premiering at the end of April. And I interviewed all the cast members and the producers for it. So I started on that, but that's going to be like a 2,000-word story. So I can't start and finish it in a day.
Sure.
And then I did an interview with an actress who is on the series Yellow Jackets and on Showtime. Then I transcribed it. And then I scheduled another interview for another cover story for a different outlet that's going to be on Monday. Had to submit a few questions in advance, which is not ideal. I don't love doing that. And then now I'm on your podcast. So and this has been a typical day, a little bit of everything.
This is the highlight of your day, I'm sure.
It is the highlight of my day. It is because
it probably is because she doesn't have to ask the questions for once.
It
right?
is.
Yeah.
I have to tell you, I interviewed 14 people this week. This was a heavy load for me, maybe more than that now that I'm thinking of it. So it's been a long week. It's nice not to ask. So tell me, how did you get involved in the series? And what do you love about? I mean, it's a nice change of pace. So
I will say one of the cast members of Yellow Jackets is a Peloton user.
Oh,
sure, more than one. Which one?
The one I know for sure, Linsky.
Melanie Linsky.
There we go.
I talked to her on Monday.
Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah,
That's
she's great. Yeah,
because I reached out to her to interview for the show and was ignored.
I'm sorry.
We're used to it. It's just flashbacks to prom.
But I don't know if it makes you feel any better that I've interviewed Melanie. I also moderate a lot of panels during the season. I have moderated a Yellow Jackets panel, and Melanie Linsky is delightful.
She seems it.
She is.
That's why we wanted to talk to her.
I know.
It's her handlers that are awful.
Don't apologize. We're just teasing.
So was this always the goal, to write in entertainment, or was it to be to do journalism in general, and you drifted into this? Or
you think I really wanted a real job when I was growing up?
There's
no way.
Yeah.
Well, who wants a real job?
They're out there.
My twin brother is a CPA, and I'm like, what? How? Why? No. What?
You guys went two very different directions.
Yeah, you got the fun genes.
Thank you. I know. Yeah. I got the opposite of whatever a CPA gene is. So listen, he's great at his job, but I didn't want to ever. I grew up consuming pop culture, probably more extreme than my friends. I also was a good writer. Honestly, I did. I'm trying to say it without sounding obnoxious, but I wasn't good at anything else, but I was good at writing. Couldn't dance to save my life. Couldn't do piano lessons. Sucked at math, but I was good at writing. And I knew I had to figure out a way to sort of combine pop culture, entertainment, and writing. And it is every day I am grateful. I've been doing this for over 25 years. So every day I am grateful that I get paid to have the job that I have. I don't get paid great. I didn't go into medicine. I didn't go into law.
Not a CPA.
But not a CPA. But I have a fun job. But I get to see movies for free.
Having a fun job, it makes a huge difference, because I like, our origin stories are very similar.
Yeah.
And my day job is I book concerts for a living.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah, so it's like this is what I wore to work today, my Smokey the Bear hoodie. Like nobody cares. And
the rest of us, people like me, are very jealous of people like you guys. So that's awesome.
I'm sure you agree with me, Tom, that I say I don't take it for granted, and every day I'm worried about how can I sustain this for the rest of my career, because it's too good to be true sometimes.
Is that really is it like kind of a cutthroat industry where like you're kind of fighting for stories all the time? Or is it like once you're in, you're never in. There's always going to be someone who's younger and who will accept less money and who maybe will not do as good of a job as you, but do people even know? Do they care? And the media landscape is constantly changing. Like I said, the Sirius XM a channel that I used to do every Monday, the whole channel just went away, not just the show, the entire channel. So things change constantly, no matter what kind of medium that you're in. But there is no safe harbor. So there's always going to be a level of competition and insecurity. Yeah, that sounds tough. That's why people like your brother become CPAs, and myself, we're like, we have to have everything all.
There's something to it. That is for sure. I always say, like, there's always a panic, especially being a full-time freelancer, in that you're panicked when you're working too much and you feel like it's never going to get it all done. And then you're panicked when you're working too little. And then you're panicked that there's going to be nothing years from now. So it's always just what level panic mode I'm in any given day.
I bet. Yeah. Like
Times.
I'm Facebook friends with a freelance entertainment writer. He used to work for the AV Club, Will Harris. I don't know if you know the name or not. But,
I don't think so.
He did a lot of their random roles articles. That's
okay. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's always kind of talking about just the difficulties of being a freelancer. Like I envy it if it's working, but I don't envy having to wonder from day to day what it's going to look like.
Yeah, it is. But at the end of the day, it's really fun. If you told me I was still doing this 10 years from now, I'd be thrilled. If I had this exact day in 10 years, including talking to you guys, I'd be totally satisfied.
What about, do you get to like take time off to go do things, or is that hard to do?
I travel every other weekend. I am constantly on the go. I'm going away on Sunday for 10 days. I just was in Berlin for the Berlin Film Festival for a week. I was at Sundance for the Sundance Film Festival in January. I pay an extraordinary amount of rent, which is ridiculous considering I'm not here half the time. So one of the benefits of, I also should add, I don't have children. So one of the benefits of, I get to be like a one-person mobile unit, and then I could probably work for anywhere. I have to be in New York a lot for my job, for screening, to do an interview, etc. But that's a really fun perk for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wasn't that nice during the pandemic when they said screw it and they just started sending us links for everything? It was
I've got very mixed feelings on it. It was definitely convenient.
Yeah.
But it's not the same experience.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not. I'm constantly distracted. I have to say, the movie that I saw today, it's like, like a slice of life drama. If I'm watching it on my laptop, I'm going to be on my phone half the time. Like, it's not going to get my full attention. In a screening room, it has my full attention.
For sure.
And there is something unique to that. So but I also had to, pay for the subway and leave my apartment and blah, 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 put makeup on. So, right. And I have very mixed feelings about the link.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say when we would watch the screening links, I would always make a point to I wouldn't play with my phone when I was watching the movie. Like I'm really bad about playing with my phone when I watch TV, but I'm like, if they sent me the link, I'm like, okay, I have to set it over here. And I guess it's also different because it's your job so it's like it's such a pain in the butt for me to get to the movie theater sometime because I work all day and then I gotta go. And so that would make a difference too.
It would, absolutely.
Right. But listen, literally a couple of days ago, I asked the publicist, can I get a link? So I'm a big old hypocrite.
Well, back to Peloton for a second.
Do we gotta?
Yeah, we do. You can come back. You can come back. You can ask more questions. It's okay.
Tom, we'll Zoom up later. We'll talk movies later.
I'm curious though, if you have a favorite Peloton instructor.
Okay, this is again where I go against the grain. My Peloton choices are based solely on music and not on instructors.
Okay.
For a long time, my go-to was Jenn Sherman. I still love Jenn Sherman. The reason why I love Jenn Sherman is because she is older than me. And I have a hard time with a smiley 24-year-old telling me to keep going. I'm like, sorry, biatch, but I'm 20 years older than you. And I'm not going to keep going. But if Jenn Sherman, who is older than me, can do it, it's inspirational. And it's not like, well, we'll get to the 80s ride, which is, I know you want to go there, which is why I know you asked me to be on the podcast. But Jenn Sherman was alive in the 80s. And she's not just saying this, oh, my mom loved Madonna, so now I'm playing Madonna. That doesn't make me feel any better when I hear an instructor saying that their mom loved Madonna growing up. No. So I like a lot of instructors, but it's really honed in on the music. If Jenn Sherman is doing like a hip hop ride, it's not going to happen. If she's doing, like I said, a yacht rock ride, absolutely. I find myself, I guess, I've done a lot of Ellie Love rides, Emma rides, Sam Yo rides, but it's definitely music dependent.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I just saw that you talked about Peloton. I don't even remember what you said about Peloton. So I guess it was something about an 80s ride.
Oh, that's so funny. I thought that's even why you met. So,
no,
okay.
it was just, I saw I saw you mention Peloton. I scroll through Twitter, seeing people who say Peloton. I haven't figured out a way to pull out the people whose phones autocorrect Pelosi to Peloton. So I see a lot of weird right-wing screeds.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was just like, oh, this person looks interesting.
Well, okay, here's what happened. This isn't so my birthday was on Saturday, February 25th.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I was at home in Detroit, and which meant that I got to use my mom's Peloton. And so I really I also, we talked about this before there, but I'm also a runner, but because the roads in Michigan that weekend were so icy and snowy, I'm like, I'm not going to run on my birthday. I'm going to do Peloton on my birthday and pretend that I'm still in shape in my late 40s. So sure enough, Hannah did an 80s ride that morning. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a fun 80s ride.
Yeah.
And Hannah, who I do like, I've taken her many times.
And Hannah Corbin? This is Hannah Corbin?
No, this is not Hannah Corbin. Good. Thank you for clarifying. That's bad. My bad research on my part. Hannah Friedson? Yeah,
Hannah
British.
Friedson, yep.
Yeah. Hannah Corbin's really hard. I don't do a lot of Hannah Corbin rides, but so she's like, she starts off the class saying, I'm going to do, because we're in award season, I'm going to do a ride of Grammy winners. Now, all right, the Grammys were 3 weeks ago, should be the Oscars, but all right, whatever. Her first song that she plays is This Is It by Kenny Loggins. And she starts off the class saying, I don't know this song and I don't know who Kenny Loggins is. And this is how she starts the class on my birthday. And I stopped cold. Like I had a second where I'm like, oh my God, I am not young. I am now at the age where there are grown women who were not around for Footloose and Danger Zone.
Is it possible that that's also like a British thing? Like that maybe Kenny Well, I mean, I'm just asking. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that don't translate.
Top Gun Maverick was just
that's my whole point.
Yeah. That's fair.
Kenny Loggins just had a little renaissance because of the biggest movie in the entire. Oh my God, brilliant! He had a Renaissance, and Danger Zone played at the start of Top Gun, which is the #1 movie in the entire world for 2022. It's going to win an Oscar in a few weeks. Not Best Picture, but it'll win something. And how do you not know who Kenny Loggins is?
Okay.
Rant over. I had to go to social media and tweet my frustration.
I don't blame you. I'm right there with you.
It brought you here.
As a middle-aged white guy, Kenny Loggins is my jam. So like,
He's not your jam. It's like Richard Marx, Bryan Adams, Kenny Loggins. Right? Like they're not going to go into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but they've got hits for days. Like you just know them. And okay, fine if they're not British, but like I know who Human League is, right? I know all the Brits. I remember Samantha Fox from the 80s. Like, come on, not an excuse. Ed Sheeran, I could go on.
I was a little concerned that when you had to go into your noggin to pull out a British band, it started with Human League.
Well, I'm going 80s. I'm going 80s, and then I'm going current. I'm going current.
I didn't even know
past to current.
Yeah.
Harry Styles. Do you want me to continue? I can name all 5 members of One Direction.
It's okay. All
right. Thank you.
That's all right. Your point has been made.
Thank you very much. I feel very strongly about this.
I can talk. I love it.
Absolutely. We love it. We love the strong opinions about pop culture. Normally it's just me.
Yeah, it's usually Tom.
Screaming into the void.
You guys can rant together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So anyway, I have to ask real quick, since you see all the movies, and what was your take on The Whale?
Oh,
okay. So I went to the Toronto Film Festival in September and had heard so much buzz about The Whale, which had premiered in Venice a week earlier. And I stood in an insanely long line to see an 8:30 a.m. screening of it, expecting greatness with a capital G. Right. And my takeaway from that film was and I tweeted this also, that Brendan Fraser is going to win an Oscar. It was a lock to me even in September. But B, the movie wasn't all that to me. I thought that it was very stagey, and it felt like it was a play on a movie screen. And every time there were that whole subplot involving the missionary and the daughter. Every time Brendan Fraser's story was not at the central part of the film, I thought it really lost something. And
I hated that movie.
Yeah.
With the white hot intensity of 1,000 Suns.
Wow. I wouldn't go hate, but I gave it a mixed review. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like our episode on the other podcast about that. I do not get the love for that movie in any way, shape, or form.
It's a little manipulative, but the problem with that movie, I guess I understand there's more than one, is that last scene, I guess, can we spoil it? I guess when he's reading the end of Moby Dick, he's reading the end of Moby Dick and he rises, right? Finally in the white light. I can see how people can get caught up in that one moment, but you take away that one moment and there's not a lot of there.
Kind of like how Magic Mike always sends you out on a big dance number.
but that's
not quite that. But yeah,
it's really boring. But here's a big dance number, and
right. But it started like, and I actually thought the first 5 minutes were very captivating, and the last 2 minutes were very captivating. The first 5 minutes were like he's masturbating. There's so much going on. There's like sensory overload. What is happening?
Well, there is if you do it right.
and then the end, right, when it's a little bit manipulative, but then he rises, but then everything in between, it's kind of a so what.
So this is still a spoiler for the movie, so people should be warned. But like the whole thing with the daughter having written this essay about Moby Dick,
I know,
in middle school, they were having her read Moby Dick. In middle school.
That was the least of the problems with me. I hear you. It's true.
I was not a fan. A
lot of people really didn't like it. But I don't know. I think Brendan Fraser, it's so funny.
He was good.
He was good.
Yeah, he's not the problem with that movie.
It's not. And it's not. And I really love Darren Aronofsky. Like he's in some of my favorites. I love like Black Swan and The Wrestler, but
those are great. On his last few movies, like I don't get it. Did he find Jesus or something? Because it's like they've all been about religion, right?
I know.
Like this has a very significant religious subplot to it. Prior to that was Mother, which was a allegory, which I liked
Mother, but
I hated that movie so much.
It's funny. I interviewed Darren Aronofsky last year. He also did a Discovery series with Will Smith before the controversy about sort of discovering the world. He has a very existential bent to him. I'll give you one more little Darren Aronofsky anecdote. I sat next to him on a flight back from Sundance. I'm going to say 5 years ago. And oh my gosh, I was so fascinated by him, and I couldn't even believe I talked to him for so long. But the movie that he watched on the in-screen entertainment was 9 to 5.
That's amazing.
Isn't it amazing?
9 to 5 is a great movie.
Isn't that a great
Talk about a
anecdote?
movie people have forgotten the impact of that movie. Second highest grossing movie of 1980 behind Empire Strikes Back.
Indeed. A groundbreaking classic. All three of those women still, getting done, and apparently a favorite of Darren Aronofsky. So what's not to love about it?
Absolutely,
that's great,
and it holds up. I watched it like a year ago.
It does.
It does. Yeah.
I do a lot of lectures across the country about sort of how women have evolved on the screen in 50 years and using various clips. And one of my clips is always 9 to 5 when the Lily Tomlin character Violet tells off Daphne Coleman and about equal pay, and the movie is 43 years old and the conversation is still relevant.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Like that and Network, same way.
Yes.
But
Network, I can only watch Network one time. Watched it once. That was it. It's a lot.
It is a lot.
Patty Chayefsky wrote it. But a classic script, and 1976, year of my birth.
Wow.
There you go. Yeah.
So I guess we should bring it back to Peloton because
let's.
Crystal's getting frustrated. So
I'm not getting frustrated.
Do you have any advice for people who are just now entering the world of Peloton?
do I have any advice?
Yeah.
I don't get caught up in the leaderboard, which
That's
was
good advice.
Yeah.
honestly, I think I always take it off my screen. I don't care what people's numbers are. And that's I have to tell you, just I hate to bring it back to Soul Cycle, but people always wanted me to go to Flywheel. Do you guys ever know what Flywheel is?
Yeah.
And it was the big competitor Soul Cycle. I went to one Flywheel class and I hated it because people were looking up at the screen at, you could do the live numbers at an old Flywheel class. And I'm like, I don't care. It just matters to me how I am doing on that single day. And if I'm, it's not a competition. And I know that Peloton fosters a lot of community, but I don't know. I feel like there's a little competition involved when you have something called a leaderboard on that screen for people to see and where you rank. And I don't know, like, I don't love, as much as I love Peloton, I don't love that aspect of the rankings. So my advice would be just I say this also from running, because I always finish in the back of the pack. Like, don't worry about finishing first. You're not going to finish first. Just cross the finish line. Just get to the end of the ride, and that's it.
I think that's really good advice.
Absolutely.
I'm curious if you high five people though. If you don't,
never.
Okay.
Never. I don't high five people. I don't follow anyone. I don't need anyone following me. I am a true freelancer in that I am like a bee away from the hive. Like I really don't get caught up in it. No judgment to anyone who does. Honestly, none. It's not for me. I have a very singular, me and my mom have a very singular experience with Peloton. I'm still on it constantly. It really has been a savior to me in a lot of ways, especially over the last 3 years. But yeah, no, I don't high five. I don't follow. I don't give away my name, nothing like that.
Okay.
Well, then I'll skip the next question.
No, I took it off. I already took it off.
I don't do it. I don't do it.
But I never look at the notes.
I don't do it. But it's not. It has nothing to do with the actual Peloton. Just to be clear, if anyone from the higher ups are listening, I should add. I've also interviewed Olivia Amato a few months ago for CNN, and she was great. So Peloton's been great to me, and so I have nothing bad to say about Peloton, but I'm not in that community mindset.
But you know what? That's the great part about Peloton is that it meets you wherever you are.
Yeah.
You don't have to be. And that's the
some
beauty
people,
of it.
like, they're super into the leaderboard. That's what motivates them.
I know.
And so it's like, I mean, that kind of stuff never works on me because I know I'm going to lose. But
and I used to be into the leader. I feel like that, like, for a lot of people, there's kind of like stages of Peloton where you're super into things and then like you kind of move on. And when I first started Peloton, I was very into the leaderboard, and it was more like I was worried about where I was, but I wanted to see how I was in relation to other people. But then over time, exactly what you said, it was just more like, how am I doing with myself? And then I think that that's a lot healthier mindset to be, especially because all the bikes are so different.
Yes.
And that's
I can do, there's a 30-point range between my mom's bike, which is older, compared to my bike. And I'll tell you, literally last night I did Sam Yo's 80s ride. I did 80s rides all week in honor of my birthday. And I did Sam Yo's 80s ride. And I felt like I had a really good ride. And then it comes up on the board, and I'm like, 2,000 out of 2,300. It's like, what? Like, it just, in an instant, you just kind of feel a little demoralized. So I didn't even follow my own advice, which is why I'm going to say it again. Do not get caught up in that leaderboard and those rankings.
It's very, very good advice.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
And it's
This was
nice.
so
I didn't have to talk about
fun.
Peloton for a little bit. I got to talk about nerd stuff.
Yeah.
I know. Like I said, Tom, you ever want to like just nerd out about movies? Just, let me know.
All right, you should come on his other podcast. You should be on his Real Spoilers podcast. You guys could talk movies.
Yeah,
I'd be happy to.
Just pick a new release that you want to talk about. Like every week we talk about a new release in a spoiler-rich environment. I always say,
I'm not going to wait a second. I'm not going to get in
Oprah.
trouble with the studios, right?
No, it comes out after the movie.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Thank you for clarifying.
We're in St. Louis. Like we don't
see movies way after you do.
Yeah.
Well, when you said you just saw Ant-Man, I'm like, that movie's been out for 3 weeks already.
Well,
so,
I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did see
How
it
far
before the
behind?
movie came out.
You're like
but-
1 hour and 1 month behind me.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, I mean, like in St. Louis, we still wear parachute pants. So
I was just there in December. I love St. Louis, actually.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
I do. Like I said, Mizzou grad. So I'm Missouri. I do love Missouri. The whole state. Yeah, there you go.
So, is there somewhere where people can find your stuff, or should they just look for your bio? Is there one area that aggregates it all that you want to send them to?
Well, it's weird. There's a site called Muck Rack that aggregates everything, but no one would ever go to that. But they can just follow me on Twitter at Mara Reinstein, and I try not to be obnoxious. I'm actually really not great at reposting all my stuff. I don't want to be unbearable about it, and a lot of things I write are in print and don't even go online. So they can get a little sampling of my musings, and I'm constantly tweeting about movies and try not to get in trouble with anybody because I need to keep paying my rent. So I don't say anything too controversial, but as you probably have learned in the past 45 minutes, I do try to be as honest as I can.
I do, and I love it.
Yeah,
I love
sure.
it.
Thank you.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your day. This has been a blast.
It really has.
Thanks, guys. This was really fun.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks.
Flip out.
So I guess that brings this episode to a close.
Yes, it does.
Until next time, where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe. They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, or the Peloton leaderboard, even here in St. Martin, at Clip Out Crystal.
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/The Clip Out. While you're there, like the page, join the group. And of course, don't forget our Patreon, patreon.com/The Clip Out. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep pedaling
And running.
and rowing.